Good morning. Welcome back to Cooking in Quarantine with Chiara. Did you guys try to make the gluten-free bread in the Dutch oven? I would love to hear from you. Let me know how it came out for you. Ours was actually pretty good. I was surprised for the first time. Today, we'll make a bread that I made many times. It's probably the easiest and most satisfying bread to make, and it's great bread to make with children. Very simple ingredients: water, flour, yeast, salt, olive oil, and some herbs. So this is called herb and olive oil focaccia. First thing that we do, we put our yeast in the water. Warm water, 105 degrees Fahrenheit, 1 2/3 cups of water. We'll use 2 teaspoons of yeast. We're not using a lot of yeast for this bread. Just 2 teaspoons, and we sprinkle it on top. And we let it sit for a little bit. And while we let it sit, we're going to set it aside. We're going to work with our flour. We have 4 cups of flour. All-purpose flour is fine. We add 2 teaspoons of salt. 2 teaspoons of salt. And then we kind of stir it a little bit. And this is the most fun part of making this bread. We're going to add 5 tablespoons of olive oil. Okay. And then we're going to rub it in right into the flour. 1, we try to spread it around as much as we can. 2, 3, 4, 5. A little bit more just for general purpose. So then with our hands, and this is the great part to do with kids, this is a very sensory activity. We rub the oil into the flour. Now we'll get these clumps in it, and don't worry about the clumps. You will not be able to crush all of them, but you can have fun trying. This will rub the olive oil into the flour till it's all absorbed. And kids will love doing this. It will leave your hands nice and soft too. And you just do it, and if you have a bunch of little ones, make sure you have a great big bowl, and you can put all the little hands in there and have a lot of fun. Just make sure you don't kind of spill it out too much, because then you don't have enough water, enough flour for your bread, right? So you can rub it off the side of the bowl if it sticks to the bowl a little bit. And this is something that you want to do for a while. You want to take a few minutes and do this because, because it's fun, and because that way it will distribute the oil evenly in the flour. It's a very sensory activity, very relaxing, kind of meditative. Meditative. I'm not sure how you pronounce that. You'll get used to my mispronunciation of words if you don't know me yet. If you know me, you're already used to it. Okay, are you having fun yet? I love this part. This is a very, very easy bread. This is the longest that you're going to be working with the ingredients. Everything else is very quick and easy. And the next thing that we'll add will be our herbs. Now you can use about 3 tablespoons of fresh herbs, or about 1.5 tablespoons of dry herbs. And it will come fine either way. And you can use what you like. Today I have about half thyme, half rosemary. You can use thyme, rosemary, oregano. You can use savory herbs. You can use whatever you like. And then you can also top it. I'll keep it simple today, but if you want to top it with some olives, with some onions, even with potatoes, you slice them really thin and you put it on top. You can do that, and I will show you when you do that right before you put it in the oven. But for now, for today, we'll keep this simple. I always suggest the first time that you make a recipe, just do it the way it is. And then the next time you can like change and then try and experiment with different things. Okay, so we're going to put in our herbs. I'm not using dry because my herb garden is not quite ready yet to give me good fresh herbs. So these are dry that I had from last year. Maybe I'll take you on a little tour of my herb garden a little further out in the season when there will be more fun things to see. There's not much right now. Okay, so we have our salt, our oil, and our herbs in the flour. The last thing to add is our water and yeast. Okay, see how it started to dissolve a little bit? Okay, this is not a bread that needs to rise a lot, so doesn't really, we just stir it in to make sure that, you know, it is all dissolved. Okay, and then we pour it in. Now at this point, we could mix it with our hands. It's going to be a very sticky dough. This is what is called a no-knead bread, so we don't have to knead really hard. Again, easy for kids, not a dry, very hard dough. I love this tool. This is my dough scraper. And you just use it to stir it in just enough for all the flour to be wet. Okay, now if you use your hands, this will stick to your hand a lot. And it's fun too. But then have something like a little spatula or a little scraper and you can scrape it off your finger so you don't walk away with a slice of what would be bread on your hands, right? And we just like turn it around a little bit just to pick up everything that's on the side of the bowl. And then we kind of, it's very soft. You can see it's not as smooth, elastic. That's all we need to do here. And of course we're going to use our fingers to scrape off everything. You know, by the time that rises, that will be like a big slice of bread. We don't want to throw that away. Okay. So what we do now, we just cover it with a towel and we let it rise until it's about double. So it could be an hour, could be an hour and a half, could be 2 hours. If you can't get to it in an hour, it's okay. You can sit there for several hours and keep rising. You're not going to ruin it. So cover it, let it rise, and we'll see each other later. Hello. So it's been about 1.5 hours, and this is how my dough has risen. And so what we're going to do now, there's a couple of different things. You have seen that there are thick focaccia, but thick and fluffy, and you can cut it in half and make sandwiches. And then there are those very thin ones, almost like a cracker. If you use about a 10 by 15 pan, you'll get a fairly thick one. I want to show you how to make both. So what I'm using, this is about 12 by 16, and then this one is just a cookie sheet that I'll make my thin one. So we'll just see how much of it will fill. I forgot to get my dough scraper, so I'm gonna go get that. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take just a little bit, like maybe 1/4 or less of this dough to make our thin one. Just a little of it. And the rest we're going to put in here. The first thing that we want to do is grease our pan, and we're going to put quite a bit of oil in there. And now what we're going to do, this is the fun part that I love. And this is also good for your hands. We're going to spread it around. And when you spread it around, we make sure to get it on our hands well, because this will keep the dough from sticking to our hands. So, and we do want quite a bit of oil in there. So we're going to start with the little one for now, and I'm just going to leave it here and then get the big one out. And we don't need it, we just put it in there, kind of shape it a little bit, and then we're going to start in the middle and spread it out. Now you can notice sometimes this will happen very easily. Sometimes the dough, as you spread it, it will shrink back up. If that happens, don't worry. All you have to do is just let it sit there for 5-10 minutes, walk away, and then start again. Don't stress, don't be upset, and also don't worry about if it's not perfect. Okay, it's okay. It doesn't have to reach all the way. It doesn't have to fill the corners perfectly, you know. And you start from your middle and you walk your way out. This one actually, because it's not too warm in the house, I think, it spreads out quite nicely. Sometimes I have to, you know, wait a little bit and do it. This time it spreads pretty easily. If it starts sticking to your hands, just put a little more oil in it. I know the little ones love doing this. And I like it too. It's very satisfying to touch squishy things. That's why we make slime and things like that, right? I like to play with Play-Doh. Okay, so this is our big one. And then, leave it here for now. And then this one is going to be a little thinner. And we can spread it as thin as you can. And sometimes when we try to do the very, very thin one, it will break, make little holes. And that's okay. Don't worry about it. It doesn't have to be perfect. I think I'm going to put a little more oil at the bottom here because I don't want it to stick. Oh, a little bit of, see, there's a hole there. That'll be fine. You can try and patch it up. This one will not have a perfect shape. It will be kind of funky, but that's okay. Going to taste just the same. Once again, if you see that this keeps shrinking back as you do it, just let it sit uncovered like that, just 5-10 minutes, and then try again. And sometimes you'll have to do it once or twice. Sometimes it comes out right away. And you can do this as thin as you want. You don't need a rolling pin. You just use your hands and fingers. And if it's not all the same thickness, that's okay. You will see once it bakes what it'll come up with. Okay, so what we're going to do now, we're going to leave this for another 45 minutes to an hour. Again, it depends on the temperature on your house. I'm going to cover this with the bowl, and I'm going to cover this with a towel. We'll leave it here another, like I said, 45 minutes to an hour, and then we're going to bake it. So once you see that it gets, then you it rises a little bit. Hello, so we're back. We let it sit for about 45 minutes to 1 hour. We turned our oven on to 425 degrees Fahrenheit. So this is our thin one, and this is our thicker one. So what we're going to do now, let's find some space. Okay, we're going to pour a little bit of oil on it. Just a little bit, not too much. Okay, this one we can put a little more. And then another very fun part of this, use our fingers, and we're going to put some dimples in it. Okay? Really fun for the little ones to do that. This will give it some texture. press with our fingers and kind of distribute the oil well there. And same with this one. With this one, you'll see it will go farther because it's thicker. See? And we can press it all the way to the bottom. We don't have to make a hole on it. If you do, it's not a big deal. But you can feel it all the way to the bottom. And you see that the dough might have pulled away from the corner a little bit. That's fine. You can push it a little bit. Don't have to. You don't want to deflate it completely, okay? You don't want to press it too much. Okay, so now we have our oil. We're going to put a little bit of salt, if you like. I like to use a bit of coarse salt. It gives them a nice crunch to it. Now remember at the beginning when I say you can put other stuff on it. If you want to put, on the thin one I wouldn't put much. Just leave the herbs and oil and a little bit of salt, it's fine. On the thick one though, if you wanted to put onions or even potatoes, if you're slicing thin, some olives, some zucchini will be very good. All kind of things. But you can experiment with what you like. And this is it. So we're going to put it in our oven. This one will cook much faster. If you do the very thin, check it after 8 to 10 minutes. You can look at it. You look at the top, if it's like a golden color. Look at the bottom. Make sure that it's not burning. If you see that it's still soft, that it's not golden, it's still white, you just put it in for a few more minutes. This one will probably take between about 20 minutes. And I will show them to you when they're ready. Hello. So this one took about 15 minutes. This one took about half hour. You see how this is thin and crunchy? Back to, and this one is soft. This one you can even slice to make sandwiches and stuff. So this one we just break apart and we make pieces, and then you can set them in a bowl. That can be like a nice snack with some cheese, some vegetables. Good. And this one we can cut. It also makes a nice snack. This is soft, squishy. Smells good. Leroy wants some. Here, Leroy. Tell me if it's good. That's good. Let me know how yours turns out. See you next time.